Okay, I think we should be live. Zoom has us live. Let's just see if we have live on Facebook while we're waiting for folks to join us. Here we go. Yep, we are live on Facebook. Well, good morning. I can say good morning this morning. I know I said yesterday that I may not be here today, but you know what? When I woke up this morning, I knew I had to come. I don't know. Things have been really interesting for me in the last 24 hours. There's been a lot that's come in, but it hasn't seeded quite yet. You know what I mean? Like it's wandering around in my field. I can catch glimpses of different things, but it hasn't actually sat down at the table and said, hey, we got some data. So I really do feel like there's a lot going on in the collective itself. But it's more than that. There's more than that, of course. I know for a fact within myself that an inner veil has become very gossamer. There is something that has moved over, if that makes any sense. A larger portion of me that was in resistance to some things I feel has sort of moved from intellectual exercise to alchemical epiphany, which I'm so very glad to have had happen because and what I mean by that, the reason I coined that term for myself is that, you know, there are things that I thought I understood or grokked, that I thought I got it. Hey, by Jove, I've got it, right? Only to find later, when I had the what I call alchemical epiphany, is when it seated itself, if you will, that which I heard Tucker Carlson refer to in a speech, where he said, when you hear the truth, you feel it, you know it, you cannot unsee it. And for me, that's when it moves from intellectual exercise. And what I mean, and I see a lot of love and light, a lot of, you know, folks who feel as though they are on the enlightening path, you know, the truth, discovering the truth of who we are, right? Thinking they're there, or, you know, whatever it is. And yet it's actually an intellectual exercise. Now, that's not a judgment. And because quite frankly, for me, that's an important step. That is an absolute, not only important, but it has to. It's not one you can skip over, in other words. And, or at least I couldn't. I will tell you that. I'll just keep it all right here. I couldn't, and I don't think that I would want to. Part of it is, for me anyway, the way I think I may have set up, arranged all of this for myself to be roused from my slumber, so to speak, is so that these gossamer, well, they're not all gossamer, that the veils within are either drawn aside, pulled to the side, or become gossamer. And I think, they become thinner and thinner and thinner within. And this is how they do that. For me, I see that is what the whole point of my intellectual exercise has been, is to see it and say, oh, yes, that's a truth. But there's also that programming and conditioning and all those traumatic things that I've experienced over my lifetime that have served to, so that now that I know intellectual exercise, that this is the way I wish for my existence to be. There's still a lot of programming and conditioning that I have to get over, right? And so as I'm walking my intellectual exercise into, and that's where I'm practicing, right? I'm not trying, I'm practicing keeping it right here in the forefront of my ego's consciousness instead of back here with my higher divinity, which knows all, right? I want to bring it forward so that the little ego me really gets the memo, so to speak. And well, hello, Lincoln Ong. Welcome. I hope you enjoy today. Today is Sunday, and oh yeah, I didn't say that. It's Sunday, August the 6th, 2023. And so I'm using my Rumi deck as per usual. Is it this one? Yes, it's this one. The Cosmic Heart, number 8, which is for me the upward facing infinity symbol, which is the corrected infinity symbol for me. Although, well, yes, because for me, this one, right, kind of keeps us moving sideways to me, right? But this one allows me to dive up into my divinity, get information, and come back into the physical vessel and allow it to move around. I don't know why, energetically, that's what I keep being shown about the number 8, the upward facing infinity symbol. And some of you may remember that my friend Lisa Risingberry, who is studying to be the first female Lama in the US, I hope I got that right. She wrote several articles about the upward facing infinity symbol that she had downloaded. And it was actually her work that I was like, wow, that makes so much sense. And then I've seen other puzzle pieces since then. And you can find her work at risingfrequencies.com. So the Cosmic Heart, card number 8. And again, you can even see the, for me, that's why this is one of my favorite decks. I can see not the infinity, but my toroidal field here. Because I feel like that's what I keep being shown. This is the micro, the macro, everything, every individuated essence, no matter what it is a group of toroidal fields in many, many ways, is what I keep being shown. Okay, so the Cosmic Heart. I was dead. I became alive. I was tears. I became laughter. The power of love arrived and made me everlasting power. I have seen everything. I have no fear. I have the heart of a lion. I shine like Venus. Rumi. I hear it and weep. In sublime reverence, I bow to this living, beating, loving heart of the universe. It echoes throughout all of creation. Once, some time ago, I was deaf. I had not heard one true sound, much noise, but no truth. So I believed in many things not worth believing in. I'm sorry, wasn't I just speaking on that? Oh my goodness. Then, in a moment of my crisis that cracked my heart open, and I want to stop right there because, nobody likes to suffer. We all want the suffering to end. But how many people do you know that make change that hasn't come on the heels of some horrific suffering? Because apparently, as a species, we got to get right to the brink before we see a thing sometimes. That's the way it felt for me. That's the way it felt for me anyway. So I'm going to repeat that. Then, in a moment of my crisis that cracked my heart open, I was given a gift. Though I felt fear and confusion, a gift came to me more powerful than those temporary ailments. We all forget that that's actually what that is. I know I have. That gift was the ability to hear the sound hidden beneath all of life. I heard it, that sacred sound of the beating heart of the universal love. Now I know that belief in unworthy things like fear and doubt is lunacy. Even my loneliness became unconvincing to me. And that's a true statement right there. We are animated by this living heartbeat, part of life that is sustained by it. You and I, the planets, the birds, and the fishes emerge from the great source because of this beating heart of the universe. It pumps life through our veins. What proof of this is needed? You live. That is the proof. I hear it everywhere now. It has become so loud, louder than any word of fear. It resonates through my soul and eclipses any tremor of anxiety. I have had anxiety since I've come to feel this is so, but I've also come to know that not all of it is mine, number one, and some of it is attached to some more of that programming and conditioning that still needs to be released by me, right? There is a time on the journey of love when the beloved, that would be you and me, sweet soul, is prepared to engage more completely with the heart of the divine lover. The preparation will be a rich process, spiritually speaking. It may also feel like being beaten, pummeled, simmered, and stewed in the pot. Now, see, that is absolutely so. And I would like to know just how many of all of us who feel like we're on some path to enlightenment or whatever, however you want to speak upon it, right? Haven't felt that way almost all this year. It just seems like the minute I could catch a breath, I was having the next conversation with death, for me. That's what it's been like all year, it seems, right? So it may also have felt like being beaten, pummeled, simmered, and stewed in the pot of the divine master chef to become a sacred and savory meal fit for the most heavenly of feasts. This is a courageous and bold process, one that will create the most delicious aromas in the soul, and yet it is one that will likely take us right to the places we would rather avoid, places of confrontation, confrontation with pain, but where the loss of its grip on our being no longer lets us quake and retreat from life in fear or uncertainty. You have been through these tantalizing trials, the push to surrender fear, the realization your attempts at control amount to not so much, actually. So why not abandon them altogether? The trials have asked you to confront every part of your being that holds itself back in resistance to what is, in resistance to what life presents at this moment. And I know this to be true for myself. That's exactly what has taken place this entire year for me. So, oh, how apropos that this come out at this moment. You have been asked to become comfortable with the possible of discomfort, with the possibility of not knowing, and to understand you don't have to understand anything for life to work out with perfect synchronicity and generous grace. I'm a pretty analytical being, also a bit of a perfectionist, which all happens under traumatic experiences, by the way. That's how those things end up being formulated into a person's personality, in my opinion, in my experience. And so there's a lot of that still that I've been unwinding and unbinding, to use BZ Rieger's terminology, and also to release all of that through not just my field, but I also have loads and pockets. And I want to, for me personally, in my physical vessel, in the cellular DNA within this body, that actually also has to be released, right? So for me personally, that's a real thing. You have been asked to bear darkness without losing hope for the return of the light. You've been asked to trust in your own heart wisdom when your mind was terrorized by nightmares and hallucinations of fear. They were so powerful, you were certain they must be real, that you must be crazy not to run and hide somehow, somewhere. And yet, here you are, still loving, still wise, and ready for a love bigger than you have ever experienced before. So we step forward together, you and I. I link my arm through yours, and I urge you on. Let us run together and jump over the edge. No more half living in any way for you and me. We will weep crystal clear tears, and we will laugh with such joy that stars will burst forth, born upon our exhalations. We will hear the beating of the cosmic heart pounding in our ears, and how we shall dance to it. I have to tell you that as I was reading this about linking arms and jumping over the edge, I was shown my conversation with my housemate Lisa Flamino Rush last night, and the sort of renewed sense of purpose within myself as to just exactly what it is I'm doing and what direction I'm moving in. And so I feel like this is confirmation to me personally that conversation is smack on, and I personally am headed in the exact right direction for myself. And so no more half living in any way. We will hear the beating of the cosmic heart, pounding in our ears, and how we shall dance to it. That sacred, intoxicating rhythm moves hips and hands and hearts, raising the soul from slumber. But that heart does beat so loud, it can be startling to the parts of you unused to such wild, unconditional affection and rowdy playfulness. You may worry that this great love is not going to be careful enough with you. What if you get tossed around in the great oceans of love? You will surely be disoriented and become lost to the world you once knew. How then will you know where to go? Ooh, that's kind of interesting too, isn't it? Fear not, my soulmate. Love has its wisdom and its way. We shall become lost in its genius together, whilst our minds are tipped this way and that, tumbled in love's great waves. We shall be forced to surrender our useless intelligence and become mindless. Then how easy it shall become for the perfection of love to guide us, for there shall be nothing within to question and resist. We will no longer have to find the way, for we will have become the way. This oracle comes with special guidance for you. More love is rushing towards you like a great cosmic tsunami. You will struggle with this blessing to the extent that you will attempt to hold on to what has been. So don't. Let go. Let it move you. You'll perhaps get some water up your nose, but nothing will come to you that you cannot handle. Now, that, I'm really glad to hear that piece in here, because I do feel like that's the case for myself now. I've been at death's door. I lay there for quite some time, actually. So I know the power of our minds, right? Wow. Let go. Let it move you. You'll perhaps get some water up your nose, but nothing will come to you that you cannot handle. You'll be disheveled somewhat, undoubtedly, yet as you are washed up upon love's shining shore, keeping every hair in place will be the last thing on your mind. You'll be too caught up in the wonder of perfection, realizing how deeply loved you are and how unnecessary it is to to contrive a way to live your purpose. Instead, you'll have no idea what is going on. You'll be surrendered in passionate embrace, with life simply being your exquisite, crazy, unique self, saturated with divine love. It will drip from you, out of your feet, your eyes, your voice, your touch. You'll water the earth with love's oceanic presence. Oh, how that tsunami will deliver you into your divine destiny. No need for any contrivance. Let your hair get messed up. Your destiny awaits you now. Wow. Well, I have been saying, and maybe part of that is still intellectual exercise for me rather than alchemical epiphany. But I have been saying for quite some time that my inner guidance has said to me that none of us, by the way, not me, not you, not my housemate, not even those we might consider as unawake, right, are late or behind or going to be left behind or not miss, or they're going to miss the boat. All of that is BS. Every single portion of the all that is, every single individuated portion of divinity that is here now in this vessel has, not had, has a plan. Something that they set up to experience. And the little being that has been programmed and conditioned with all of their personality through the entirety of their years in the vessel with every experience has told them otherwise, and they don't realize the truth of who we are. None of us do, really. I only at this point have an inkling of what I suspect to be true. And boy, oh boy, everything I keep being shown shows me that it's imperative that I release and trust the internal guidance that I'm getting for myself. And that is that we all came here with a plan. We all know what we're doing. It's only the little one that gets all freaked out. And yes, we can set up more obstacles for ourselves by not paying attention to the small, still, subtle voice inside and make things more painful or whatever we want to classify it. But that's a choice that we're making. And obviously it's one that's being that I've chosen. I'm gonna keep it right here, that I've chosen to show me something. There's something within whatever that pain, suffering it is that I've set up for myself that I have to see, because I won't listen or pay attention to the inner or anybody else that's trying to help in some cases, right? But the inner is the most important, because the inner will help me if I just get quiet enough to listen. And then I got to follow through, because that's the other thing. Because, how many of us hear what we know we need to hear, but we just don't want to do it. We don't want to hear it. We're in denial of it, or I don't want to. And that's you're right. That's absolutely everybody's right. But we can't sit around and say, or at least I know I can't anymore. That's the one thing in my commitment to myself. I would no longer lie to myself. And so that's a part of it. I love today's message. It really, it's sure showing me that a lot of my internal guidance is smack on point. And I hope this was helpful for you, Lincoln, if you're still here. I hope you enjoyed this message. Obviously, it was specifically meant for your ears. The fact that you stayed around too, I always feel like there's always something for anyone who feels drawn to anything, right? There's always something for me as well. So thank you for being here. And thank you for all of the rest of you that I know will be seeing this later, both here and on my new YouTube channel, Sassy Seer Sheila, which you can find on YouTube. And also go to, and I'm telling you, because I don't know how long this one's going to last on YouTube. Let's see. It's going down the amount of time that it is between let's see, it was 3 or 4 years for Conscious Conversation Central before they shut me down there. And it was like 2 years maybe before they shut me down here last time. So I'm not quite sure how long Sassy Seer Sheila will endure. But do go over to Rumble and find Conscious Conversation Central. And I would say that I would put it in the, I will put it in the, well, you can find it on my page. And Lincoln, if you're seeing this, just scroll down to one of the other lives, and in the comments, you'll find all the links of how to find me. But one of the things they said over at YouTube, they didn't tell me exactly why, but under their community guidelines, one of the reasons you can be thrown out is because of external links, which seems kind of funny to me, because almost every YouTuber puts external links in their description box as to how to get them, how to get their guests, all that kind of thing. And so it seems like one of those technical things that they can, nab you on. But but that's okay. So you'll need to either back it up and whatever. But my direct email is consciousconversationscentral@gmail.com. Don't ever hesitate to contact me if you would like to have a conscious conversation with me, whether it's recorded or not, to share with others. But I really, most conscious conversations, for me, I feel help making a conversation about consciousness more commonplace, something that more people engage in, without others saying, oh, that's goofy, that's silly, that's nothing, that's what, all those things they say, because actually it's the most important thing. Your thoughts, your feelings, what you do with your consciousness emanate frequencies out of your body. That's the way I look at it. Well, till next time, I hope that you will continue to move towards that which brings you joy in each and every moment that presents itself to you. It is a matter of slowing oneself down and seeing that there are more than one perspective to view something, and there is always more than one way to accomplish a thing. And so perhaps there's a way that would bring higher joy, even in situations that may not seem very joyous at all, right? So till next time, be well, my friends. Have a lovely Sunday.